load up the booster. We have DiSe versus Hipposaurier. Best of 3 winner moves on to the qualifying match. And we are going to start our best of 3 on Tide Hunters. Coming right at you. Both players in the last chance bracket. This is the last chance to make it to the big stage. You have to do it now, or you're going home. DiSe in the top left corner. Did well yesterday, but needs to do even better today. And will be going up against his human opponent, Mr. Hipposaurier. Opening standard at the moment. Hippo also looking to make his first trip to DreamHack. So Hippo going to be bringing everything he's got to the game today. Wants to make it to the big stage for the first time in his Warcraft 3 career. Question is, what is it going to take? As Keeper the Grove also coming out for Mr. DiSe. So relatively standard opener from both of our competitors today. Don't want to pull any tricks, any treats, even though we are so close to Halloween. Not yet. Players going standard, sticking to the book.
A player's forces are under attack.
No funny business today, not yet. Scout Wisps of DiSe are all in place. Archmage about to be online. The militia will certainly be called. There they are, the boys. 5 of them. 4 of them. Heading on over to the Sea Giant. Can't want to get this Sea Giant down quickly to avoid his pulverize effect. There it is already. You can see the AoE cleave going out on all of the units. Take it down rapidly. Archmage going to collect the item and move on over to the next one. Meanwhile, a nice footy behind the trees here. Getting some auto attack damage on some of the Wisps. Forcing DiSe to some early game Wisp management. DiSe moving on over to the natural. Going to also get a Gloves of Haste and a Circlet to start. Very nice items, and unfortunately for our Archmage, going to be stuck with the Ring of Protection. Also, Hippo going to try to take care of some of these Scout Wisps, chase it down. Going to get level 2, also take down one of the Wisps. So pretty nice pick off there. Gloves of Haste also coming down. A fast expo attempt from DiSe. As more archers continue to be trained behind all of this. Peasants in position to do a fast expo themselves. Some initial damage. One of these footies going to fall down. Does not get denied. Kill claimed by DiSe. And no Town Hall up yet. So going to have to deal with these treants in your face. No more treants for the time being once you can take care of these. No more mana. This Town Hall finally gets the foundation laid down. Going to be able to start power building that. One of the peasants almost certainly going to fall courtesy of the treants. Archers also trying to get enough damage on this Town Hall to cancel it, but will be driven back ultimately by Hipposaurier, who is now going to turn his attention to the remaining treants. As Tier 2 has begun. Expo about halfway done. Hippo continuing to power build, also wants to get an Arcane Tower here to help deal with the treant pushes. And continuing on the standard creep route. Hippo on the journey to level 3, now has the level 2 Water Elementals. Going to enjoy that power spike, courtesy of his summoned units. Gonna park the footies and Water Elemental back home. Meanwhile, go and check out the Tavern bot. A Claws +5. So nice little power boost for the Archmage here. Meanwhile, Keeper heading on back over to the Expo. Gonna entangle one of these injured footies right off the bat. Going to be looking for a deny there. Doesn't quite time it right. DiSe claims another footman's life. Has enough mana to get another entangle and does secure it. This is a level 2 entangle, so this footman certainly a casualty. As Hippo going to try to push off that keeper. Going to try to get the deny. Does secure the deny this time, but even though you didn't transfer experience, you have lost yet another footy. Has the Arcane Tower up. Going to help burn some of this mana. Maybe prevent an entangle. Getting him down to that 75 mana threshold. They continue the right clicks on the Keeper. Keeper the Grove also pushing the Archmage back. Wants to fight near the tower, but DiSe does not want any part of that. DiSe not ready to be pushing the Expo and yet going to back off. Begin creeping again. Sending the Treants in first. Archmage, but another Claws of Attack. So this Archmage becoming quite deadly. Plus 10 damage, has the Gloves of Haste. 15% increased attack damage. Great. Gonna get some nice auto attacks onto the backline archers. Archers forced to retreat. One of the archers may fall, but does not get that last auto attack off. But archers took quite a bit of damage from just the Archmage alone. We'll be able to take out the remainder of this. Keeper the Grove tapped the Moonwell. Got the mana supply back up to where he needs it to be to secure this Expo. Entangled Goldmine. Wisps now in there getting to work. Archmage getting those auto attacks off on the archers. Trey Palmer, thank you for the follow. Enjoy this best of 3.
A player's forces are under attack.
Hippo looking to be in a good spot here. Has the Archmage. Plus 10 damage. Is taking a little bit of extra damage here. Doesn't want to take too much damage. Does not want to be pushed back early. Wants to get as much value out of this attack as possible. Archer goes back, taps the Moonwell. Still quite a bit of moon juice left. Enough mana for an entangle as well. Going to use that last entangle on the footman. So now only 4 footies remain for Hippo. Meanwhile, tier 2 for Hippo online. A stray peasant just standing around, unfortunately. Gonna get him back to work. Tinker paying a visit to the Expo as well of DiSe. Almost got a surround locked in on the Militia. Tinker quickly pulled back. Does not want to overextend the Tinker. Feed that XP on over to the human. Entangle onto the Archmage. DiSe closing in, trying to secure an Archmage kill. The Archmage so strong right now. Plus 10 claws. Gets another entangle locked in. Going to have to burn the TP. Head on back home. And Tinker not quite able to get a foothold here as the Arcane Tower continuing to push the Tinker back. Footies still in the presence of DiSe. No defend yet online. But also no entangles at the moment. Archers saving the moon juice for their health, but the Keeper did get just enough mana for one more entangle. Blood Mage, second hero of Hippo, going to help drain the mana of the Keeper, keep him idle, not casting any spells. Same with the Tinker. Would be nice to drain his mana also. And another footman's life has been claimed. Hippo now breaking upkeep at 51 food, going to come back under upkeep. Deny one of his own footies. One also highly injured footy. Going to go into the battle, maybe be sacrificed to the creeps in favor of training another rifleman, which would be much preferred right now. Unfortunately, this rifle taking quite a bit of damage in this creep camp. Be able to preserve all of the unit's health that you can. Get the creeps to focus down those elementals instead. As the Blood Mage continuing to feed mana into the Archmage. Get as many water elementals pumping as you can. And the Dryads here to try to counter the water elementals will have Dispel. And the Tinker on the journey to getting level 3 himself. It will encounter the human army potentially. Hippo choosing to retreat, not quite ready for this. As DiSe pulls, the shop camp has enough to deal with this. Keeper the Grove at level 3. Right now, not enough mana to get anything done at the moment to the human army. Just going to be able to poke. We'll have to back off. It's going to head to the shop. Maybe claim some of these nice items. Bought the Scroll of Healing. Scroll healing now, 70 seconds left on cooldown. Blood Mage siphoning, trying to get as much mana from the Tinker as possible. Needs to back off, get this Priest into better position. Archers firing down arrows onto the Priest. Do secure the kill, and now the Tinker level 3. Looking to push forward, getting some auto attack damage onto the rifles. As Hippo looking to trade Dryads for rifles right now, trying to get as much value out of this push as possible. Blood Mage continuing to drain all of the mana. Now a Mortar team has fallen from Hipposaur down to 57 food. Sorceress is on the field, but a little out of position. Going to pay the price for that. Take quite a bit of damage as more mana getting siphoned into the Archmage. More Water Elementals will be on the field soon. Dryads running low on mana, won't really be able to deal with them at the moment. Has 420 mana, Kappa. And now all of a sudden, Hippo swinging this battle back in his direction, pulls some of the boys, does get the level 2 from the Blood Mage, going to be quite helpful. Moving into the mid-game, as Dryad's mana has pretty much been drained.
A player's forces are
Moon
under
Juice
attack.
quite low. Bears on the way. Don't think we have 2 lures. We do have wind lures. So Fairy Dragons also going to be on the menu. Going to be quite tricky to deal with, as these auto-casting priests, if not careful, will take quite a bit of damage from those Fairy Dragons. Also, the heroes, of course, and the sorceresses. Any of them who cast slow will get burned by the Mana Flare.
Player's forces are under attack.
As the Keeper of the Grove looking to continue his harassment on the Expo. Has quite a bit of mana right now. Tinker has the level 3. Going to continue creeping himself, looking for that nice level 4. Archmage going to head back and get some defense on the Expo. Meanwhile, the army of Hippo continuing to push into rifles, breakers, mortars. Going to have the mortars to help with the Dryads.
A player's forces are
Breakers to
under
help with the
attack.
Bears. Rifles to help with the Fairy Dragons. And DiSe has the Dryads to counter the Water Elementals. Bears are just really good in general. Going to have that Roar. Going to have Rejuve. The Fairy Dragons to help counter those casters. Does get the level 4. Now has level 2 Pocket Factory and level 2 Engineering upgrade. So the Pocket Factory going to continue to be quite deadly. Priests are going to have to burn quite a few dispels on the high summon counts of DiSe. DiSe locking in an Entangle, looking to get a surround also with these Treants. Keep the Grove going to staff back home. Took quite a bit of damage, but Hippo going to be able to take down these Treants. Feed some XP into the heroes himself, who now finds himself at level 3. Blood Mage opted to take level 2 Flame Strike. So we'll have some zoning and AoE capabilities as he goes against the level 4 Tinker and level 4 Keeper. Bears, Dryads, Fairies. Gonna go take down this Expo, at least poke at it a little bit. Force DiSe to come back and respect it. Has the Mortar teams to help with this push. Mortar team's going to be caught out of position in the back. In vulnerable position, going to be taken down by the Druids of the Claw, who now have rank 2. Will be able to get into bear form. Hipposaur going to TP back. Does not want to stick around to this, and will be able to get the tree down courtesy of Flame Strike. So did what he came here to do. Got the Expo canceled. But quite a few bears. This army becoming terrifying from DiSe. 68 food right now, but Hippo sitting at a strong 75 food. Dryads picking off the reinforcements. Being caught out of position. Entangle will make him pay the ultimate price of death. Cluster bombs also going out onto the Blood Mage to cancel that siphon mana. And Hippo has to deal with these Fairy Dragons, or they're going to just idly damage down these casters who are casting slow, casting heal. You see the casters just getting ravaged by the Fairy Dragons. Mana Flare going all over the place. Hipposaur now down to 66 food, just like that. And the Bears moving on to the backline. Cluster Rockets still continuing to CC and stun the Blood Mage. Blood Mage is going to fall. Level 5 Tinker now on the field. And just like that, the battle has been swung right back at DiSe's camp. Only a level 4 Archmage on the map. Level 5 Tinker, level 5 Keeper. And it looks like this may be the beginning of the end for Hippo's level 5 Archmage. Really the only thing left in the game. Hippo calls GG. And we're going to game 2. DiSe up 1-0. And a very nice initial game from DiSe there. Hippo going to need to make a couple adjustments to be able to take this to Game 3. As Hippo on the heels of elimination. Needs to do everything, pull out all the tricks to be able to push this game, have it go the distance, and move on to the third game. But we are in Game 2. DiSe up 1-0. As we move on to Game 2 of our series. It looks like this one will be played on Concealed Hill. And those fairy dragons, so deadly against those casters of the human, in particular the human, as they have that auto-cast heal, auto-cast slow. You saw it, each slow that was cast brought the sorcerers down maybe a fifth of their health bar. And the same goes for the priests, not quite able to out-heal the mana flare. Damage output of the fairy dragons, quite strong. Now we're going to go to Game 2. We're going to handle this on Concealed Hill. As Hippo facing elimination. Going to have to pull out all the stops, all the tricks. DiSe looking to close this out and move on to the semifinals, or I guess technically the qualifying match. So we'll see how this all shakes out in Game 2 on Concealed Hill. And Entei, welcome to the stream. Yes, good luck later. I believe you face the winner of this match, if I am not mistaken. Let me check that. Yes, you face the winner of this match, so Entei in the chat studying his competition. Preparing. Wants to secure his trip to DreamHack. And thanks for joining us today. DreamHack European Close Qualifiers. We will be casting the Americas Close Qualifiers after this event, but we have a couple hours left of our European participants. And Hippo opening standard. No surprises there. Keeper of the Grove will be DiSe's hero of choice again. And just a recap of Game 1. We saw Hippo with a quite commanding early game lead. Was able to get the Expo, take it down. Also was able to get some nice initial early game presence on DiSe. But DiSe was able to turn it around with a great counter army. Had the Dryads, had the Bears, had the Fairy Dragons. A really great counter army to the human Rifle Mortar Breaker caster composition. Fairy Dragons are just so effective against human casters, especially if you're not careful managing how often they are casting things like heal, casting spells like slow. The mana flare. Damage ramps up so quickly, going to leave the Gloves of Haste for the time being and try to punish this Wisp, who is scouting. Does get the detonate off. Will avoid the XP transfer. Hippo heading on back to get the Gloves of Haste. Keeper got the ring and the Slippers of Agility. Keeper now level 2, crept quite quickly. Going to move south. And Hippo will find a Gauntlet of Ogre Strength. Not quite the item Mr. Hipposaurier is looking for in the early game, but will be the item he has to have success with, as another footy going to be victim to the Entangle. Keeper of the Grove, so deadly early game. Nice deny there by Hippo. Trying to prevent as much XP being transferred to the Keeper of the Grove as possible, but will have this Water Elemental to consider. Quite wounded, has about 5 to 10 seconds left on the timer. Hippo going to chase back DiSe, as DiSe retreats to a safer position, but will certainly stick around to make sure Hipposaurier isn't going to get a successful Expo up, who brings over 6 militia. Will have a difficult time taking down this creep camp with DiSe right behind him. Treant's going to work on the initial footman line, down to 50% health already. Footman retreating back as the militia starting to creep the expansion. Footies right-clicked onto the archers, do get a archer kill, and also going to get a null overseer kill from the militia. Needs to try to get back there and get that ring of protection +4. Heroes are going to run back and fight for it. Who's going to get it? Some nice unit blocks from Hippo to prevent DiSe from picking that up. Also a manual of health available. So many peasants falling courtesy of the archers and Keeper of the Grove and Treants. Auto attacks onto the Treants, trying to reduce as many summoned presence as possible. Keeper of the Grove backing off a little bit. This looks like the Footies are going to be able to take down what's left of the summoned presence from DiSe. Get some more auto attacks. Nice deny there from Hippo. Gonna get some more auto attacks on the Keeper of the Grove. Push him back. Get him out of this Expo. And Hippo not too shabby. Was able to hold off DiSe for the time being. Will find these archers at the Fountain of Health as well, who choose to Shadow Meld. No Dust of Appearance yet. So we'll have to just let them heal fully back up. Bringing over one more of the boys. And a big difference here is last game, DiSe had an Expo up around this time. This game, maybe just Hippo will have the economic lead, and that might be what Hippo needs to be able to secure that really strong Tier 2 army in high numbers. Last time, thanks to the extra economy of DiSe, was able to transition into Fairy Dragons quite easily. Really helped with the caster backline of Hipposaurier, who's going to attempt to push these archers back, but it is still nighttime. They're still just going to be able to go back to that fountain, Shadow Meld, and heal up free of charge. More entangles onto the footman, now level 2 entangles. Each one of those is pretty much a dead footy. Going to get more auto attacks onto the Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove going to get another level 2 entangle. This could be 2 dead footmen. Does secure one of the kills. DiSe getting on out of here. And maybe a deny on this footman if Hippo can get it. Does get the deny, but still one more footy down. 33 supply has the Expo up online. Tier 2 on the way. Lumber mill also coming. I'd imagine a blacksmith also soon to come, as Tinker yet again is the hero of choice of DiSe. And the question will be, will Hippo go Blood Mage again? Blood Mage did okay against DiSe last game.
A town is under siege.
Continuing to chase down the Archmage. Finding this Proxy Tree of Life. Wants to get this canceled. Does not want DiSe to have any sort of economic surplus like he did in Game 1. That made it much more difficult for Hippo to secure any sort of mid-game lead. Both of these footies will die courtesy of the entangle. Archmage really trying to get this cancel on this Tree of Life. Would be such a big cancel if he could get it, but so much damage coming from DiSe. Archmage going to stick around till the very end. Just a couple more auto attacks. Does get it and is maybe able to TP out of here. Will almost certainly have to use it if the Dryad gets another auto attack. Archmage able to get out, and that was a big-time cancel from Mr. Hippo. DiSe will need to start that Tree of Life all over again. Hippo getting just what he came for. Blacksmith almost online, going to be able to transition into rifles. Archmage wounded, needs to go back to the shop. Needs to get Scroll of Regen, heal on up. Clarity Potion also will be valuable. as DiSe continuing on the creep route, going to have another Tree of Life. You have to restart that timer on when he's going to be able to get any sort of economic catch-up to Hippo. And Hippo now has mined just about 2,000 more gold at this point in the game. Has some idle peasants at the moment. Archmage needs to go back, get healed up, get the items he needs, and needs to watch out for an entangle. Bought the scroll of regen, will get entangled immediately by the keeper. Also, the treant's on the way. Does get the potion of healing, does get healed up, will be safe for the time being. And trying to get back into position to have the arcane towers to start going to work. As the Tinker continues to creep up, we'll get level 3 with the next creep camp. Keeper the Grove going to TP on back home. Tap some Moonwells. Bought the Moonstone as well. Forcing Nighttime. Blood Mage on the map. Ready to start creeping up himself, as Hippo has all the economic lead he needs to transition into Rifle Caster. Question is, will we see an Ancient of Wind again from DiSe? Tinker heading on back home, sold the Crystal Ball, doesn't need it any longer. Going to tap the Moonwells, get right back into the action as he has dual level 3. And this level 3 duo threat looking to head maybe down to the Expo. Going to catch some out of position reinforcement footies, gets the level 4. That's going to be pretty valuable in this push against the Expo. Hippo may need to retreat back to the Expo if he wants to save it. The attack is coming right now. More priests, rifles, long rifles being trained, but now the army of DiSe is here. Hippo needs to come back, is here to defend it. Going to start siphoning mana on the Tinker. Tinker running back into the midline, trying to snap the siphon mana. Rifles trying to get as much damage onto the Dryads as possible, but so much mana on the Keeper, still able to get entangles on each one of those rifles. Rifles trying to find their targets, stumbling around. Unfortunately, more siphon mana on the Tinker. Wants to get as many siphons off as possible. Also needs to keep this shop up if he wants to be able to defend this attack. So many entangles on these rifles and no dispel yet from the priests to be able to get rid of it. Dispel, such a vital and important part of the human defense against the Keeper of the Grove. And yet another Pocket Factory down, this time in the main base. DiSe wants to push in one of these workshops to prevent these mortar teams from coming online. And now at this time it is Hippo pushing from the back to the front, going to get some nice surface area on the archers. Also a beautiful flame strike onto the back line of DiSe. One of the archers will fall, another will be claimed, another extremely weak as some priests in vulnerable position back here. Keeper of the Grove and Tinker will be pushed back. A couple of the boys going to fall, but going to be able to take down the Pocket Factory. We have 54 supply, 246 supply. Hippo, if he can keep producing, keep getting some strong units, he might have a shot here. Going to take down this archer as well. Tinker heads on back home. Preservation off cooldown, looking to maybe secure a bear kill. But that bear might gonna be able to outrun it. Tinker back online, and Hippo, for the time being, has secured the defense against DiSe. But DiSe now moving on immediately to the Ogre Lord camp, wasting no time at all. Going to claim the Battle Drums, a very nice item that all units will be benefiting from on the Night Elf forces. Bought the Scroll of Healing, bought 2 Scrolls of Healing, going to pass one over to the Blood Mage. And that's going to be incredibly important. The most efficient Scroll of Healing usage, if you can get that micro on par, and you could maximize the effectiveness of Scroll of Healing, it could turn the game around. Going to siphon some more mana from the Tinker, force it back. Thank you, Stalka, for the follow. More Spellbreakers on the way. Mortar teams also present, going to help take down these Pocket Factories. And the big difference between this game and last game is no Fairy Dragons yet, but the Ancient of Wind on the way. Hippo needs to consider that and be able to take it down quickly as Dryads dodging the missiles from the mortar teams. And if you have good Dryad movement, you will be able to dodge almost all of the siege damage, but it does require a lot of attention to detail. Dryad's going to head on back towards the Goblin Lab. Don't want to be caught. Also going to make some Scout Wisps pay the price for being out of position. And now Hipposaur potentially looking to take this Expo down. Get rid of any economic advantage Mr. DiSe is currently enjoying. Ancient of War being uprooted, pulling in all of the reinforcements that he possibly can. About full mana. Blood Mage needs to be careful not to get surrounded by these bears. Does have a vicious Flame Strike in the middle of all the melee damage, but has to pop the Invuln Pot. Going to try to siphon more mana from the Tinker as the bears go to work and finally start making their way to the back line. Going to get some surface area on these fragile ranged units of Hipposaur. Hipposaur trying to get some damage off onto these Dryads, but the army of DiSe closing in, inching towards the back line of Hipposaur. Hipposaur in quite a bit of trouble on the Blood Mage here. Blood Mage is going to fall. Level 5 Keeper of the Grove, and again the army of DiSe prevails. Hipposaur bows out, will not make it into DreamHack this winter, and DiSe will have his last shot against Entei next match.